takie super.
Takie chrumkawe,
A
nie?
ten korn to był taki szykowny.
Nie? Oh, hello. I'm James and this is my daughter, Izzy.
Hello.
We're going to show you how to make some inserts for campaign boxes or the old collector's boxes. I didn't really like the plastic stuff that's to be found inside here, so Dave from Optical Power has made some fantastic laser cut dice trays which look like this, and there are even 2 layers. Check it out. Okay.
And they fit together.
And they fit together perfectly. This is what they look like out of the box. Okay, and I had a little bit of trouble the first couple I made, so I thought we'd make a quick instructional video on how to put them together. Just before I get rid of this campaign box, this one's for Jakob. He was asking whether you could safely turn it upside down without everything going everywhere, and the answer is apparently you can. Alright, so the trays come flat packed, and this is one tray of the 2 that you'll need for a campaign box, and of the 10 that come in a pack. You can see that this is the upper tray, and you can tell that because these side pieces here are flat, whereas the ones from the lower tray actually have a little tab that sticks out. But we won't worry too much about that for now. So we've got a base plate, side pieces which go around the whole structure once it's finished, and this is the main business really. 2 side pieces which go like that, and then 5 of these which fit between them, and then 15 thick shelves and 1 little thin shelf. And you'll see in a minute how it all goes together. I won't bore you with the details. But that's one tray. And in addition to that, what you get in the box, you will also need to buy some lepidlo na drzewo. Excuse my Czech. That would be lepidlo na drevo, which is obviously wood glue. And also we found very, very helpful some big elastic bands. So we'll start by putting the framework together, and then we'll put the shelves in, and then we'll glue the base on, and then we'll have to let that dry for a longer time, and then we'll put these side pieces on, and then we'll be done. So I'm going to start by gluing this up a little bit, and I'll cut the video here because I'm sure you don't need to see me gluing things. Right, so we've got all the end tabs of the dividers and the edge pieces glued up, and now I think Izzy, you're going to have to hold some of these for me. Can you hold them? Okay. 2. This is the end piece. Okay, obviously the end piece has glue on just the one side. Okay, so that makes a difference, whereas the other pieces have glue on both sides. If you can hold 2 middle pieces, let's not forget. Okay. And I need more fingers for this. Okay, I'll just put this there for a minute. It'll be fine, don't worry. Okay.
I can hold 1 more.
I think we're alright. Okay, you can take that. Okay. That goes on the end like that. Now, I'm fairly convinced that the majority of the world's population will make a better job of this than me, but they won't make a video about it. So this is a side piece, right? So if I put that in there, because there's only glue on one side. Give one of them. Oops.
Can I do these other 2?
Well, we can try. We'll stick that in there. We should ensure that we have the double sort of V cut all at the same end, which I think we do so far. Alright.
You got glue on your...
It's alright.
I want to put this one in.
Okay, you put that one in. Right, we've got it together after a bit of a struggle. Now we're going to put this elastic band around it so it sort of stays together. This is where you might need a second pair of hands, Izzy, if you can stretch it. And if we let go at roughly the same time, okay. There we go. Relatively stable. You might notice that I've probably put a little bit too much glue on in places, so I'm just going to wipe that off and we'll come back in a second. Right, I've tidied it up a bit, so now We've got a tray which is reasonably stable. It'll flex, but it's all right. So now we're going to put the shelves in. The only thing to note about this is that we need to put the thin one in the end, which is away from the double slot. Okay, because that particular slot at this end is a little shallower. It's not very easy to see, but it's a little shallower. So that's where this thin shelf goes. So I'll slot that one in, and it's a bit skew-if at the moment, but it'll sort itself out as we put them in. There you go. I don't glue these in. I'm sure you could. I don't think it's really necessary. It is alright. It's a bit wonky. Alright, fair enough. Okay. Izzy likes to race me. Well, hey, less speed, Izzy. And there we go. They're all in. So I'm just going to pause. Okay, basically I don't need to pause. Basically, yes, thank you, Izzy. This is the bottom, and if you just pass me the base, the base is going to sit on top like this. Or it might be the other way around. It's slightly asymmetrical. It does go on one way, not the other. I think that's the right way around. So what I'm going to do, and this may or may not be the best way to do it, but it seems to work for me, is put glue on all the bits. So actually not on these bits, but here, along here, all the bits where there'll be wood-to-wood contact. I'll just put a little bit of glue. I'll try not to put too much on like I did last time. And I'll come back in a minute and I'll show you me sticking it down. Right, we've got it all glued up. Hopefully not on my dice mat. Now we're going to just put the lid on. This is it's not the lid, it's the bottom in fact, but it looks like a lid because it's going on the top at the moment because we're upside down. Just a word of warning, there is a right way and a wrong way. That is going to match up. You can't see those pegs, but the peg is there, and that's going to match up with the pegs like that. But if you have it the other way around, it won't, because it's slightly asymmetrical. So apparently there is a right and a wrong way. And now we're going to try and put it on top without making too much of a mess. Can you sort of guide them in?
Okay.
Alright, seems good. Pretty decent. Okay, it's worth checking. And again, yeah, it's worth checking that these pegs here are flush in the holes, because if they're not, you might have it. Because I had problems with the first two trays I made. I think they didn't fit together perfectly, so I had to carve a little bit off, but that was totally my fault. As long as they sit in those slots perfectly, we should be fine. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. And then once you've done that, you need to let the glue go off, and apparently pressure is a good thing for that. So I've got just the thing. I've got my Calvin and Hobbes compendium, which is pretty weighty, I assure you. That can go on there. And if that's not enough, we can put some full campaign boxes, which are also pretty heavy. And that's it. You leave it for, I don't know, maybe 3 hours. 3 hours seems to, that's what the glue suggests. I suppose you just read the instructions on your glue, leave it overnight maybe, and we'll come back to it later and we'll glue the sides on. That's it for now. Oh, I think Rabbi wants to say something. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right, we're back, and here are the completed trays. I actually did another one while you weren't looking. This is going to be the bottom one, as you can see from these tabs, and this will be the top one, as you can see from the flat bit, so it fits in the box. Anyway, we'll do that one separately, so I'll put that to one side, Izzy, if you would. Thank you very much. So it's quite easy from this point on. We just need to remove, I put 2 elastic bands on in the end.
Taking 2 off at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Alright, I'll take 2 off it. There you go. And all we have to do is glue these bits on the side. I don't think this really needs an instructional video. You can probably work it out, but for the sake of completion, obviously, don't put glue on this bit because that's going to sit proud of the top. I did that a few times before I figured it out.
Can I do the other one?
Sure you can, Izzy. Okay, I'm just doing it like that because that's what I saw on a video once. I think it was somebody, whoever you are, thank you, because I got a few tips off you. Somebody who had one of the big OP laser original boxes and he was showing how to put it together. And I don't know, it was something like that. I'm probably not doing it justice. Anyway, I'll glue up the other ones with Izzy's help. I've got it all beautifully glued up, thanks to Izzy, and stuck to the paper, thanks to me. Right, let's just stick it on.
I just did a bit.
You did the best bit though, right?
You did.
Okay, and now we're just going to stick it on the sides, and obviously we need to get it level, but I think we've got a little bit of time to play with it. Hopefully the glue doesn't go off too quickly. Should we put this one on?
Kitty please.
Is that in? Is that in?
It's not this one.
Right. Right, get it all together and then we'll sort of straighten it up in a minute before the glue dries. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. I just want to check it's level, hang on a minute. And obviously get rid of any extra glue.
Dad, you should think of Mummy's phone level.
Izzy's just saying, I don't think it's quite right to whisper while you're on camera. She's just saying I should use my mummy's, not my mummy's, her mummy's iPhone to check it's all level, but I think you can do it with your fingers. Just check that nothing is sticking up, and then we'll get the elastic bands on. Okay, you ready? This is a bit small one, I mean.
How do you do it so slowly?
Next one. And alright, there we are, the finished product. Izzy, if you would be so kind as to help me. And there they are, little beauties. There's the bottom one, and you'll see, if all is well, they will fit nicely together. Look at that. Quality. Okay, so thank you very much indeed, Izzy. It's been a pleasure working with you, and let's say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye bye.